But I mean, that's what you have me for a friend, right? Like, is it let you know?
You're like my own little AI. You're just going to synthesize all this information for me and tell me what I need to know.
The lines are set, the narratives are loud, and the overreactions already in midseason form. This is Ahead of the Spread, where we separate the signal from the noise. I'm Tacoma Blend, and across from me, the man who loves a contrarian pick, Yes Way Jose. Let's shake up the board. What do you say?
How can I love a contrarian pick if my name is Yes Way Jose? Don't understand.
That's the irony. That's the irony. That's what makes it so great.
You just contradicted yourself, bro. I don't know that we can trust anything that comes out of your mouth.
I was not prepared for this. This is yeah. This is how you get me every time, every week. You know, you always get me with one.
Speechless in the first minute of our show today. That's awesome.
All right, so we're done. Was that it? Should we wrap it? Thanks for tuning in. Yep. Just kidding. Jose, I got something for you. Court storming. I need to know where you stand on it. Court storming. Talk to me. For, against, thoughts?
God, hard-hitting question right off the bat. Court storming, for or against? Have you ever, let me ask you this first. Have you ever participated in a court storm?
I don't think so.
No?
Michigan State expects to win the games. So
I did in the year 2000. Weber State hosted the Big Sky Conference tournament, and we won in the finals. And that after the win in the finals, court storm, chaos. It's not for me. I like the whole time I'm like moving down towards the court and onto the court. I'm like worried that I'm going to slip. I'm worried that somebody's going to like fall into me. I'm worried that I'm going to hurt my knee. So I was just kind of tentative the whole time. So even then I did recognize that these are, can be fraught situations. So I think at the end of the day, I've got to say that I'm against court storming from a just injury potential perspective. It's kind of fun to watch on TV, but I can't handle the stress of it in the moment.
We're going to agree with this one. So maybe we're both contrarian, or maybe I'm being contrarian to agree with you. But yeah. So my take is, first off, it's like in theory, a court storm, amazing. Like I would be all for it, but we don't, live in this, perfect world and glass bubble kind of situation. We have just, how has something not gone actually wrong? You know what I mean? Like
somebody with a pacemaker not had their heart stopped because somebody
Nebraska
with a cell phone. For those who aren't aware, it was his Nebraska's coach, right? Yeah. Who was caught on video swiping at somebody who approached him with a cell phone, and he gave the old "I have a pacemaker" reason, and I don't know enough about pacemakers to judge whether that's a legit concern to have, but it sure sounds fucking hilarious.
Yeah, well, I guess I could see your hesitance on it, but Hoiberg seems like a stand-up dude, so I'm gonna just let you know. But I mean, I would imagine other people have cell phones around them frequently. Another coach that talked about it before is like Shire at Duke, and he's always just like borderline ambulance chase these situations, just like cries foul every time, and it's like. I understand that these things are a powder keg. Something's gonna happen. Like, one of these drunk, fans or students is gonna go up to one of those players. I mean, now that you got money involved and like you're betting on like teams and stuff, what if you accidentally, bumped into one of them or something? Like it's ruckus. Like there's people going everywhere. It's kind of pandemonium. Like how is this not? Like, I don't know. It's a buzzkill statement, but like, how is it not banned? It just, I don't know.
How do you prevent it from happening? That's the thing. You ring your floor with 500 security guards. Like how do you practically prevent this from happening? I think that's what schools are struggling. That's what the schools are struggling with. And do you think the fines that come in after the fact are enough of a motivation for these schools to say, okay, we're gonna do everything we can to prevent this?
Yeah, it's clearly not. I mean, like at the end of the day, it's a classic like financial hit would dictate how the schools do. So like if the schools can't properly, like they get hit with a fine and they're like, okay, we can't have this happen again. So they beef up security 2x, still happens, get fined again, probably a stiffer penalty. I would imagine like some sort of, approach to it where it's like, look, if we keep doing this, we're going to like not have fans in the stadium next game kind of thing or something like that. You know what I mean? Like it's just, I mean, I don't know, man.
It's a tough one. I think it's a tough one. At the end of the day, anti-court norm, but what are you going to do? It's a tough one. It's a tough one to manage.
I agree. All right, time to hit the fairway. Let's check in with Just Be Golfing.
Yeah! Hi, everyone. I'm Justin from @JustBeGolfing, here to give you the closing line value on this week's PGA Tour stop at the Arnold Palmer Invitational.
T-Talk, T-Talk. It's time for some T-Talk, T-Talk. It's the part of the show where we talk golf stuff. Yeah!
We're heading to Bay Hill this week. This is generally a course that's known more for precision over power, but I like to think of it as the birthplace of modern golf. In 2021, hole 6, 4th round, this is where Bryson launches that 370-yard drive over the water. Everybody else is playing it off to the right, like the course is dictating, and we are now in the era of power golf. If we look to 2022, this is where Scottie Scheffler got his second career win, and that guy's just been dominant ever since. He won it again in 2024. So these are the top 2 stories we've been talking about the last 5 or 6 years in golf, and so that's why I think Bay Hill is the perfect place to talk about the birth of modern golf.
Yeah!
Okay, our first bet, if you've watched this channel a while, you know what it's going to be. Jake Knapp to finish in the top 10 at plus 225. He's done it 5 out of 6 times. He's our workhorse. This is just going to happen. This is our gimme bet. Jake Knapp to finish in the top 10. Okay, our long shot bet is not quite as long as some of the other bets that we've made, but we are looking at Rory, Matt Fitzpatrick, and Hideki Matsuyama. Yes, a 3-for-1 at plus 460 to win this tournament. We could take Rory at plus 1,000 by himself or Fitzpatrick at plus 2,200. I think those are both really good bets. They've got the precision power balance that we're looking for at Bay Hill. But if I can get these 3 golfers who are all playing really well, and I hope that Scheffler just has another bad Thursday like he's had the last 4 tournaments, I think that this has a strong chance of paying out this week. That's it for Bay Hill. Remember, hit them straight, and if you have a chance, like, comment, or subscribe on the closing line value at youtube.com. All right, we'll see you next week for the players.
Part of the show where we talk golf stuff. Yeah! Trivia, this is sports trivia. It's a segment about a fact you don't know, probably. Trivia, something super significant, probably. So significant, totally trivia about a sports-related thing.
All right, Jose, let's get back to college basketball, my dude. What do you think about national champ repeat odds? We had Houston and Florida last year. I know we've talked a lot about Houston and a decent amount about Florida too. What's your take on who has the best chance at getting back to the final game, not even winning?
I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I think it's Florida. I think Florida is trending up and Houston is trending down. Florida's looking really good right now. I might even go out there and say that I think that Florida could be our 4th number 1 seed come tournament time. I kind of think it's either them or UConn. So yeah. if I'm going to pick between Houston and Florida, who's going to the national championship game, who's got the better chance, I'm going Florida right now, just based on recent success at this point in the season.
Yeah. Again, we just keep on agreeing. I'm with you on it. Florida really has just come on incredibly strong. And while I feel like there's a lot of teams that have faded come late season. And granted, maybe we're being a little harsh on Houston because they lost to 3 really good teams. But you know, like they still lost. So I think it's more a matter of Florida being that team. As we've talked about before, I'm big on the rebounding component of these games. As Michigan State has stayed in games that maybe their talent level or shooting prowess has allowed them to, the offensive rebounding and defensive rebounding has kept them in games. So Florida has that, I think, even to a better degree. I think they're rated higher in that department. So, I think Florida, I would take Florida. Usually, the championship hangover is real. So I usually tend to fade that. But, personally, I don't think UConn's for real. I mean, they're getting dubs, but they're playing just cake schedule for the most part. Big Ten's beating up on itself. Big 12's beating up on itself. That includes Houston. I just think Florida probably deserves that spot, that 4th spot.
Yeah, and I think I agree with that. I think with what Florida's got left and what UConn's got left, there are going to be more opportunities for Florida to strengthen its position than UConn at this stage because the SEC is just so much stronger and deeper. So I think Florida's going to end up, barring some disaster that happens probably right after we stop filming this episode. Barring some sort of disaster, I think Florida is in a good position to take that number 1. I also have to say that they've kind of have flown under the radar a little bit in the regard that they haven't been in the conversation in that top tier, which is probably a good place to be in just because it takes some pressure off. They've got a lot of minutes returning from their national championship winning team last year. So I don't know. I'm buying on University of Florida right now.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I like I said before, though, we definitely have a great group of teams, and I think that 2s and 3s and 4s, maybe even down to the 5 seeds, could make some noise. So I think we're gonna buckle up and have a good tournament, which is great after 4 1s making the freaking Final Four last year. So speaking more on the tournament, who are some bid stealers? What do we have any teams that you've been kind of eyeing up that might either take something away in the late regular season, do some damage in the conference tournament to where they, like a Gonzaga loses to a Portland or something like that, to make Gonzaga get an at-large and open up the West Coast Conference, or just flat out win their entire conference tournament to get an automatic bid where no one was expecting it. Do you have any teams that you're kind of watch out for these guys?
I'm gonna land us in the Mountain West Conference right now, where I think things could get really interesting. And if I'm gonna identify one team that I think is a dark horse to really cause some damage, it's Grand Canyon University. I think I can see Grand Canyon winning the conference tournament. At that stage, Utah State is an at-large. So now we're having a conversation of whether the Mountain West deserves a 3rd team in the tournament, a 2nd at-large team in the tournament. New Mexico, San Diego State would be probably in consideration for that. So a Grand Canyon winning or even a San Diego State or New Mexico winning shifts the conversation as far as okay, how many bids does the Mountain West get? Do they get the tournament winner plus Utah State? And is there any room beyond that for an additional bid? So, but I see Grand Canyon, Grand Canyon probably scares me the most. Grand Canyon swept San Diego State this year. I think they swept Utah State. So, so Grand Canyon to me is a scary ass team. And then they could probably do some damage in the tournament too, to be honest with you. Let's see, they beat Utah State. No, they lost to Utah State on Saturday in Logan. So basically against San Diego State, they swept 1-1 against Utah State, and then they lost both to New Mexico. So not as strong, but I do see them being a team that can get hot in the tournament and do some damage.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. I think that's a good pick, and we've seen Grand Canyon, make some noise. Even as last year they really kind of came up, and now switching to the Mountain West Conference, just they're making some noise. Not consistent enough, obviously. That's a tough conference to do that in. I'm going a little bit of a different direction. I like the mid majors kind of stuff where you see some of these bid stealers. But I kind of like what's happening with Cincinnati lately in the Big 12 conference. There's always a team in a Power 5 that just kind of late in the season, going into like conference tournament play, people are talking about the Houstons, the BYUs, the Kansas, the Zonas, but what if Cincy, makes a run, maybe wins the conference tournament? Obviously that's quite a tall task given the difficult, conference that they're in, but they've been playing really well. And that's why we have a pick for them, our picks of the day as well. So Cincinnati is one that I'm looking at. And then another one that we've kind of talked about a little bit is Akron. Right now, if Akron beats Miami or just advances and wins the MAC, they're taking away an at-large because Miami's going to get in. So Akron and Miami both get in for the MAC instead of just one. So, it'd be a shame if Auburn couldn't get in because of that. But there's a lot to keep an eye on this year, more often than normal. I feel like the bubble is a little bit more like a bunch of mid teams, but I think there's actually, like we've talked about before, there's some pretty good squads that are, on the outside looking in and, ready to make a run after some injury issues or just kind of starting to gel kind of thing. So keep an eye on those teams, I think.
Would you rather see the second or third best team from, any one of those conferences, the Mountain West, the West Coast Conference, any of these mid-major conferences? Would you rather see the second or third best team make it to the tournament versus some middle of the road SEC team? Let's just throw, for an example, Auburn out there, who's been getting a lot of attention lately. What would you rather see in that scenario?
So kind of twofold question with it for me, because one, I would always, this goes back to the college football playoff too, is I would always rather see the mid-major, even on the larger mid-majors or the more like the stronger mid-majors. I just feel like they deserve a shot. And more importantly, I feel like you finish 9th or 8th in your conference and, you went 500 or you went sub 500 in your conference and you barely have a winning record. Like, I'm glad. I mean, good for you for scheduling these games, but that's not enough. You know what I mean? And I don't think the argument that, Auburn would beat Miami, 9 times out of 10. I don't think that's enough to put them in over them. Like, they keep saying like the best team wins. It's like, well, or the best team should get in, excuse me. It's just, I don't think that flies. Like, you just didn't take care of business and it's just not deserving in my opinion. So relative to like a Miami. So I would much rather see these mid-majors. I'd rather see the New Mexico, the Grand Canyon, the Akrons, the Ball States, Bowling Greens, just feel like it's just far more fun. And especially now with, the NIL driving, funneling players up to Power 5. I think it's it even more emphasizes that David and Goliath-ish mentality of, okay, like here's Stephen F. Austin, like, coming at you, Baylor, let's see what you got. And I don't know, I just think it's better for the sport and it's better for the game. Obviously it's not better money because that's why we're even talking about it. Otherwise I don't think we would be.
Auburn has lost 7 of their last 8 games.
What are we doing here?
They're sitting at 15,
What are we doing?
at 15 and 14 right now. Yeah, I don't want to see Auburn in the tournament. I'd rather see both Akron and Miami of Ohio make the tournament than to see
they beat
Auburn.
In that Kentucky game, they got a last minute. They won by 1 point, and Mark Pope, they caught him off camera, a little bit of a hot mic situation. He said some things like, and I know that's part of the game. We've talked about that quite a bit, but like, there's a decent chance Auburn doesn't win that game even at home, but they got the, they got a little bit lucky and a little fortuitous. So, I mean, that could have been 9 in a row or whatever. So just, no, we don't need that nonsense. Get some other teams in there. Even if they don't win, for the James Madison Tulane argument about college football playoff, I still think that they got to be in there. It's just, that's their only opportunity to get in is to go to win their small conference, and I don't know. It makes sense to me. So, driving at some of these teams that are moving into the tournament, we've got some unfortunate with injuries on some of these teams. So, we had talked a little bit about Toppin for Texas Tech, but U of M has got hit with the injury bug as well. So, what's your scale of 1 to 10? What are you who are you most concerned about, or how concerned are you for those teams? BYU, whomever.
I think Michigan's going to be fine at the end of the day. That is a big loss for them, but I do think that they have the depth, the size, to overcome Kaysen's loss. I know that Texas Tech, I think, is Texas Tech 3-1 since Toppin went down, or are they 3-0 since Toppin went down? They're 3-0 since Toppin went down, including a big win at Iowa State on Saturday. And they seem to be, I think they had 6 guys against Iowa State in double digits. So they seem to have figured out a way forward without Toppin. Their victories are against Kansas State, Cincinnati, and Iowa State, who I think is a little diminished right now. So I don't know that I'm necessarily buying that all is well at Texas Tech right now. I think missing Toppin's really going to catch up with them, especially in the tournament. So I'm pretty concerned for Texas Tech. I think Michigan's gonna be fine. I think BYU had so much promise this year, and it's just kind of been lost. They might make a little bit of noise in the tournament, but I don't see BYU overcoming, their big injury. So Michigan, okay. BYU season's probably in a tank. Texas Tech's probably in a tank. That's how I see it.
Yeah, it's a pretty good take. I think, BYU's lost 8 of 11.
Yeah.
8 of 12. So, I think that they're a little bit of they have a little bit of that Kentucky, throw some cash at them and let them kind of figure it out, as opposed to legit coaching kind of thing, and running sets and plays and just coordinated offenses. I think when push comes to shove and you need a scorer, sure, DeBonsa can do that, but a lot of times I've seen him in a 1-score game. He's taking fadeaway mid-range jumpers, and it's like, is that what you need? So I think the Richie Saunders floor spacing is big for BYU. So I'm a 8 concerned for them. Texas Tech, like you said, it's still JT Toppin. So I think that they can still make some noise and obviously compete with teams. But I think that, especially with the short turnarounds of those games, one every other day, each weekend. I think that injury is going to cost them. So I'm at a 7 or 6.5 for them. Michigan, Kaysen's a turd. They can swap him out. I'm at a 0.5. Dude sucks, honestly. So they can just get McKinney in there a little bit more. Gale, Burnett, like they'll sub him out. I mean, honestly, that team's stacked, I think. But Kaysen's a donk. He sucks. So no worries there. The other one that we did talk about is North Carolina. I don't know what the prognosis is. I know Caleb Wilson, right? Is
he not coming? I thought he was coming back like this week.
Oh,
Am I imagining that?
Seen. No, I mean they didn't say he was out for the season. I don't think. No, he's out for the season. I'm pretty sure. But I mean, without him, I think potential return date. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So with him, I think they have a chance to make some noise. I kind of thought that they were absolutely toast without him because he was such a key player, and they just revolved around him quite a bit. But the Heels got through a pretty tough schedule without him, and they lost the game that he got injured in to Miami, but they only lost to NC State and otherwise beat, Louisville, Syracuse, Pitt, and Virginia Tech. So yeah, I think overall, I don't think that they're going to make a run, but unless I'm worried about that injury for them, they seem to be able to compete otherwise.
Yeah, I don't know. I would probably put their ceiling at like a Sweet 16. I'll put, Texas Tech to me was a Final Four team. I think their ceiling is now moved to a Sweet 16 scenario. And I think BYU's lucky if they get to the Sweet 16 as well. So I don't see any of those teams. I see those teams barely making it to the Sweet 16 if they do, and not going beyond that. Which is a bummer for those three programs, I think, because at any given point, or at least earlier in the season, there were points where you could have been like, man, this is a really good team. They could do some damage this year. That's the sad part. Like Texas Tech is a really disappointing one because I did see them as a potential Final Four team.
Yeah, I think I think that definitely is kind of limits their upside a bit. So let's kind of go into the early conference tournaments. It's a lot of smaller tournaments: ASUN, Ohio Valley, Summit, things like that. So are you into any of those super small tournaments? It's kind of sometimes hard to focus, similarly with me with MLB, when college basketball is going on in general. There's so many huge, big, impacting, games that sometimes I lose a little sight of these conference tournaments, but they're freaking awesome regardless. What are you keeping an eye on any other conference tournaments? I know that you're big on the MAC and the Midwest Conference. Any other ones that you?
No,
West Conference.
I leave that to you. That's why we're friends, so that you can fill me in on who won the ASUN conference. I didn't even know that was a conference. So I'll let you do the heavy lifting on this segment.
You don't know about Austin P? Oh man,
I know that it exists, but I don't.
That's what I got. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I joined like a conference tournament pool or whatever, and it's helping kind of analyze each and every conference, go back through their schedule and stuff, and it's pretty exciting stuff, man. So I think the ASUN looks like a little bit of fun, and that's started, I think. So that started this week already. The Horizon League is always a fun one, and I mean that one I feel like might have the most epic games. So I would say tune into that. Robert Morris, Oakland, Doug Gottlieb's Green Bay squad, Detroit Mercy.
How is Doug Gottlieb's team doing?
They
Because they had a
finished
rough
tied
one
for
last year.
third. Yeah, they finished tied for third in the Horizon. The Horizon's good, dude. Finished tied for third. So they bounced back quite well. Oakland, Greg Campy's team, who beat Kentucky in the round of 32 last year or 2 years ago. Robert Morris, Wright State, they all look good. So I mean, honestly, if you take a look at the schedule, tune into one of those games, I think you're going to find that a lot of those outside of the first round is pretty exciting.
I promise you that I'll think about tuning into one of those games.
You know what? I don't know. This is like, but I mean, that's what you have me for a friend, right? Like, is it let you know? Right? Does that count?
Yep. Just fill me in. Just watch all this and fill me. You're like my own little AI. You're just gonna synthesize all this information for me and tell me what I need to know.
All right. I'm gonna give you spit out some output for you, let you know what to watch and what happened, and M dashes will be included in my analysis. That's for sure. All right. Hey, so picks. So this week for our picks, we finished at about 500. We had a strong Saturday with Minnesota and St. John's winning. We had those on our picks on the on our shorts, and Tennessee had the lead. We almost had a clean sweep at 3-0. Unfortunately, they absolutely folded like a cheap suit and ended up finishing 2-1. So all in all, picks are going pretty well at the end of the season. So gonna hopefully finish strong and kind of find some good value for the conference tournaments. One of the things that kind of came up, which was interesting, was UConn and their last 11 games. I think their last 11 games, they were 1-10 against the spread, 1-10 when they're favored by double digits. Sorry, I forgot about that caveat. Like the close ones, they've been able to like close out, but like, dude, anytime they're a big favorite, that's why I think this Big East tournament, I think UConn gets picked off. Mark that one. UConn gets picked off in the conference tournament.
You don't think they're as good as you don't think they're as good as Dan Hurley wants us to think they are.
Jeez. Yeah, that guy is a piece of freaking work. UConn's not that. UConn's good, obviously. Like they have some marquee wins, but the fact that they were like the presumptive fourth number one seed when we had these other teams actually playing against good, other Power 5 matchups, Big East kind of somehow just dwindled into a shell of its former self. So they're just kind of I don't know, week number one. I think they're a 2 at best, but we'll see. I mean, if they win out the Big East and the rest of the season, maybe they're up in the high 2s, but I don't think they're a 1. So I don't know. We'll see.
I agree with that. Bracket Matrix does not agree with that.
Of course they don't. People are saps.
Bracket Matrix has UConn in as the fourth number 1.
There's a couple brave souls out there that have them at a 2. There's 2 of them, 3 of them, 4, 5, 6 different brackets on Bracket Matrix got them at a 2 seed. So yeah, they're the 1, but real ones know it's Florida. You know it, Jose.
I know it.
Well, let the world know, Hose.
Well, I think I did.
That's true. We're just gonna
rewind the tape because I'm pretty sure I was pretty vocal about my admiration for what Florida's doing this year.
You told me to tee you up anytime we could talk trash about Hurley, so I just wanted to see if you had anything else.
No, that guy's the worst. I don't know what else. What else can I say?
That's it. I just wanted it one more time. That's it.
But he's the most. Who do you hate more than Dan Hurley from the coaching ranks?
I mean, we lost a couple of them. I don't hate McCronin more because I think that McCronin's like a little bit more annoying and more like whiny. Hurley's more obnoxious and also whiny too. But Yeah, I don't like Hurley. Hurley's probably number one at this point. Fran McCaffrey was annoying as shit at Iowa. Just complete like D-bag. Bruce Pearl was pretty hateable. Now he's gone, like not coaching anymore. So
he's still pretty hateable.
Yeah. He's still there saying on air, talking about we like with Auburn. It's like, dude, get out of here. Just you don't know what you're talking about. But
yeah, that is a piece of work.
Let's jump over to MLB, shall we?
On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for the World Baseball Classic? Because it's coming. It starts. I think there's a game today. I think the U.S. plays tomorrow. But on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for the World Baseball Classic?
I thought about this for a bit, and I think initially my reaction is, hell yeah, let's go. But at the end of the day, you know, it's not even a consistent time cadence. I know it depends on if we have Olympics in baseball. In my opinion, just kind of like, I don't know, pick a lane. Let's either do this or not. Let's do it every year or do it whatever number of years. It's just, I don't know. I like it when the games are on. I watch them. I do find them entertaining. But you know, I don't know. Like,
how much are you tuned into baseball right now? It just out of curiosity. Yeah. So like the World Baseball Classic just doesn't get your attention.
It gets my attention. Like, you got to tell me though.
I'll fill you in on the World Baseball Classic. You fill me in on the ASUN Conference Tournament. We'll do like a little information exchange.
Perfect.
As somebody who loves baseball and who loves, it's my number one. I'm excited about the World Baseball Classic, but I'm not like as excited as I could be. I think that having the World Baseball Classic in spring training is not the best place to have this tournament. I think look at what the Olympics just did for the NHL. You take a pause.
Yeah,
second half of your season. You've got people who are just on a high from that tournament during the Olympics. And now you're going to come back and hit the meat of your season and go into the postseason from here. I just think that that's just a much more effective way to maximize, to squeeze as much juice as you can out of this tournament. I think you should pause the season for a couple weeks around the All-Star break. Let the World Baseball Classic happen, or if it's an Olympic year and major leaguers are going to be in the Olympics, because the baseball's coming back to the Olympics in 2028, but it hasn't been decided yet whether major league players are going to play in it or whether it's just going to be amateurs. So if MLB players are going to be in it, pause the season for a couple weeks around the All-Star break, do this fun ass tournament, come back and hit the home stretch for the playoffs. And I think you'll just get that much more energy and buzz, and you have the potential to get new eyeballs onto the sport, because people watch it during the Olympics and then they want to follow these players that they just kind of fell in love with during the Olympics during the regular season. The one thing that really bothers me about the World Baseball Classic right now is specifically with pitchers. The San Diego Padres have 7 players who are going to play in the World Baseball Classic. Most of them are pitchers. They're still ramping up. Like, as a pitcher, when are you most likely to get injured? Number one, It's overused at the end of the season, and number 2, it's when you're ramping up. It's when you're getting ready to when you're starting to build your innings. So the fact that you've got this tournament, pitchers aren't ramped up, but they're going to want to go because they feel the pull to represent their country, and it just creates situation for injury. I'm just like on pins and needles right now, because it's like I'm excited to see all my San Diego Padres playing in the World Baseball Classic, but I don't want anybody to get injured.
Yeah.
Which is a very, it's a possible thing. So let's put the tournament in the season around the All-Star break, and let's call it a day.
Yeah, I mean those are excellent points, and you've got me. I'm in. I think mid-season tournament like this would be awesome. And honestly, like if somehow they could do it like annually, like literally every year, that's the break, because otherwise, just scheduling. I mean, realistically, what they should do, which is never going to freaking happen, but they should just cut, 20 games off the 162 game schedule and have that gap right in the middle of the season where you can play an actual like World Baseball Classic or Olympics in the middle of all of that during like the break kind of thing. But you're not gonna be able to do a proper tournament mid-season with 162 games, are you?
I think you can.
Really? Okay.
I
hope it happens.
I think you can do. You can build in double headers, and they doing that thing with the double header where it's 7 innings each game. I'd be into that. I'm okay with that. Like they can get creative and do this. I don't think taking 20 games off the schedule is necessary in order to do it. Maybe 8, but there's so much money here involved that and the potential for so much more money to be coming in that they can find a way. They'll figure it out.
What are we looking at for Team USA? I've seen some articles, regarding Scooble a little bit, but how are we looking for the Team USA?
I mean, I think the lineup's good. I think the pitching is what kind of held us back 3 years ago. Scooble's only going to pitch one game and it's going to be 55 pitches. Like, I don't know if
that might be enough.
Yeah, but that's one game. That's in the pool play, and that's one game. And then he's done. I think Skeens is doing a similar thing. Like, I think pitching's probably we're gonna suffer because of pitching because of the limitations that a lot of these guys are gonna have on themselves. Which is why we should put the tournament in the middle of the season when these guys aren't worried about injury and ramping up because they're already ready to go. So I don't know. I think honestly, the team that really gets my attention is the Dominican Republic. I think the DR is just stacked. And we've got 3 San Diego Padres on the Dominican Republic squad. So I'm excited about
who are you going to root for then?
About the DR. I don't know. We'll see. It just depends on the matchup.
Oh, stay tuned.
But you know what would be awesome, because we've got Mason Miller as the closer for the Padres. By the way, I'm telling you right now, write this down, producer Nick, bookmark it. But Mason Miller, major season incoming. That guy's gonna be a stud this year. And so I think Mason Miller against Shohei in a pivotal moment against Japan would be really fucking fun. I think Mason Miller against Fernando Tatis or Manny Machado, his 2 teammates in, a semifinal or a final could be a lot of fun to watch. Like that's actually kind of really exciting from that perspective, to see this, tournament play out in certain ways. I would be, that's the kind of stuff that I'm interested in. I don't know. I don't really know that I'm that invested in whether the U.S. wins or not. I just want to see like fun baseball games.
I gotcha. Yeah, Japan probably is out to be a formidable opponent as well, right?
I think so. I think just because their pitching is ridiculous. They got Yamamoto. I mean, their pitching is incredible. Shohei's not going to pitch. So he'll just be their DH, but they're Japan stack. So wouldn't be surprised if Japan repeats. I think the U.S. has a shot. I think the DR has a shot. Then I think like from the dark horses, I think probably Venezuela is a team that could make some noise. I don't know that I see Puerto Rico just because they had a bunch of players who couldn't play because they couldn't get insurance, which is such a weird thing to have take place. So
I'm going to take a look at the schedule after this and see. I'll be chatting with you a little bit about it because I do want to. Realistically, I do want to like clue into some of those games because they're fun to watch and just don't always see them on my radar when I'm specifically going to college basketball sites at this time of year, especially with March Madness right around the corner. Speaking of baseball, let's kick it over to Mikey V with Hey Better Better.
Hey everyone, I'm Mikey V. Welcome back to Hey Better Better with the closing line value. Today I'm going to talk about 2026 Cy Young winners. I'm running it back with the two best pitchers in baseball, Paul Skeens and Tariq Skubal. Skeens is a 5-pitch beast and his stuff is nasty. He throws 100+ mile-an-hour fastball and maintains it damn near 100 pitches into a game. But his filthiest pitch is by far his splinker. It averages 95 on the gun and 13 inches of drop. I don't know how anyone's gonna keep up with that. Now, taking a dive into the 2025 rankings amongst qualified pitchers, Skeens led the majors in runs, earned runs, ERA, and he tied for 4th in strikeouts and whip, 6th in average, and top 10 in innings pitched, walks, and hits. He's gonna run it back. But now I'm gonna switch gears and take it over to the American League. I'm going to talk about Seattle University alumni Tariq Skubal. Skubal mostly uses 4 of his 5 pitches, but he can bring the heat as well. Consistently maintains the upper 90s and low hundreds, but I'm most impressed by his changeup, and I think he's going to continue to keep hitters off balance with that. Skubal's 2025 campaign led the league in whip, and he was runner-up in earned runs, ERA, walks, and strikeouts. He tied for 4th in innings pitched and runs, and was 12th in hits. But the most impressive thing about his resume is for the past 2 seasons, he's been the highest ranked pitcher for wins above replacement, as well as a back-to-back Cy Young Award winner. I smell the 3-peat. Well, appreciate you checking in. That's all the time we've got today. But if you need some prime insight as you're starting to prepare your March Madness bracket, you should head over to the main page and check it out. Hey, better, better.
That's all we have for this week's show. Like, follow, subscribe, and we'll tune in next week. Cheers.
Ahead of the spread. Trivia, trivia, this is sports trivia. Thought we forgot about the trivia, probably. Trivia, trivia, did you get it right? Probably. Probably. Trivia, did you get it right? Probably.